All right, I am making a video for sort of to help answer this question of why they are the way they are, meaning who am I talking about? They. I'm talking about the elite. I'm talking about the Illuminati. I'm talking about the Hollywood celebrities. I'm talking about those in government. I'm talking about those in high places, established, and influence and the whole gamut. Just think about all the people who are in prominent positions around the world. Why are they so? Why do they appear so crazy a lot of times? Why do they? I'm laughing because sometimes the things they do are just so hypocritical and ridiculous, and you just have to laugh because to me, it's just so silly. But why they do the things they do? Well, I'm going to recommend as an FYI this particular book called The Illuminati Formula Used to Create an Undetectable Total Mind-Controlled Slave, because they're under mind control. They're mind-controlled slaves carrying out their master's wishes. This goes way, 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 way back, all the way to ancient Egypt and Babylon and what have you, and probably before that. But it has to do with why these elite, these celebrities, they act crazy, and you say you're scratching your head, why are they doing what they do? Well, I read this book a few years ago, and I'm actually rereading it because it has a lot of information that I forgot about, but it explains, if anybody's ever heard of the term MK Ultra, well, it's about mind control, and it has to do with the elites and Illuminati families and how they raise their children. And they start very young and very early, training them, programming them, and then they send them out into the world to do their shenanigans, let's just say. But this book, I highly recommend you read it. Now, I will say as a disclaimer, it's not a light reading book. I will leave the link on this video. But you can read this one right here. It's right here. There's a few scattered, it's all throughout the internet. You can find it. But this gentleman wrote this book, and it's very good. But again, I will say it's not light reading. But he tells why, for example, false flags. Why do they use certain individuals to do false flags and whatnot? Anybody heard of the movie Manchurian Candidate? Well, I'm sure some of you have. But it's all based on trauma. Well, it's called trauma-based mind control. And yes, as he says, it's destroying the human race. That's absolutely right. But these people are controlled and programmed and brought up within their families, brought up... It's not only just the elite families, it's military families. It's just across the board. But what it is trauma-based mind control to create a Illuminati, just an undetectable total mind control slave. So you could say one person's being raised to be a so-called Christian leader, who we just heard about in the news. And but yet here they have these Christian leaders. Well, they're sent out to sway public opinion. They're all being used with a purpose to sway public opinion, influence. It's such an all-encompassing topic, but it affects every area of our lives because it's been done for years, hundreds and thousands of years, and it goes throughout the whole world. Leaders have been used this way, and it goes back to ancient Egypt. It goes back to practices, Babylonian occult practices, where the Kabbalah is involved. The Illuminati, the old Illuminati families, it's just something they do. They just keep passing it down from generation to generation. But this book will tell you why and how and what they, you could say to yourself, well, this person, oh, let me tell you too, one thing about this is they even have, they're in the churches, all the churches. I'm not saying every person in a church is a mind-controlled slave, or is under mind control, but in let's say a large percentage of pastors, they've infiltrated every avenue of society, government, religious, entertainment, you name it. They're out there. So this just goes into detail how they can raise them to have one front altar, as they say in the book, be a so-called moral Christian leader, and yet talk about things that, and then in their other altars, they could be something, they could be a Satanist, they could be a mass murderer, or they could be anything. They know how to do it, and this goes back to the experiments they did with Joseph Mengele. He was a one who really perfected their techniques. And yes, I know a lot of people say, "Oh, this is all baloney," but no, that was carried out. These mind control research was done on a lot of, like it says here, Joseph Mengele conducted mind control research on thousands of twins and thousands of other victims. These things were done, and then when World War II ended, they brought them over to the United States to work with the government. They worked with all the alphabet agencies. They created the alphabet agencies and the CIA and all that. People know what I'm talking about. But this is all about, this book will really, really enlighten you to how they program these individuals to do the things they do. And you see these people acting out like celebrities. Why are these celebrities? Why are they first presented to us as a one type of individual, and then they all of a sudden turn out to be this other type of individual? Well, a lot of it's based on their upbringing. And a fact is, you don't get anywhere in these high levels without being part of the system. Or if you're not raised in it, you certainly sell your soul to be in the system, like the people in Hollywood, the celebrities, who you don't get anywhere unless you sell your soul. That's just bottom line. So anyway, this is kind of, like I said, an FYI to recommend that this will explain a lot of questions for you. Wonder why are things being done the way they're being done? Why are people acting out and going crazy and being a mass murderer and, doing all these things? It'll make you think twice as to why they do what they do and why they are the way they are. And if you are a lover of truth and you really want to know, you will like this type of book. Now, but I do warn you, it is heavy reading. But it's very, very good. I think it's probably one of the most definitive books on how they do it and what they do. So this is kind of helpful FYI, and hope you if you love the truth, you'll go and get the book. Or I should say, well, you can. I think you can order it on Amazon, but you can read about it for yourself online, then you'll be that much more educated.